Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be discussing how to remain in control of your emotions. So, that is something that is talks about a lot on the internet, right? As a parent, we need to learn how to control our emotions. As a human, we need to learn how to control our emotions. But the reason I mentioned parenting is because it's so difficult as a parent because we're parenting little humans who are still learning how to maintain and control their emotions and learn what their emotions are. So that is why it is super difficult for us and something that we really need to learn how to do. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about. Today, I'm going to be giving you some of my favorite tips on how to remain in control of my emotions. So if this is something you struggle with, stay tuned. Hello, everyone. My name is Kiosha, and I am a certified life coach. I specialize in neuro linguistic programming. So I teach you how to communicate with your brain. Why is that even important? Well, it's important because so many of us want so many things for our lives. We want to break bad habits. We want to become successful. But what stands in our way is the way that we communicate with our brain. Our brain is what runs 97% of the actions that we take with our body, which is our subconscious brain, right? It happens subconsciously. We run on programs. Most of the things that we do every day, we do them without even thinking about it. If we drive to work in the morning, we don't think in our mind, turn left, turn right, turn this, turn that. We just do it because it has become a program. So programs can be good things, programs can be bad things, but most of the time, the bad things are what's keeping us from reaching our goals. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to remain in control of our emotions, and how that pertains to our programming in our brain, and how we, do better in our life by knowing how to do these things. So the very first way, y'all know I like to get to it. Very first way for you to remain in control of your emotions is for you to stop. Now, this one was hard for me. It's for you to stop expecting you from other people. I know that's a difficult one, right? We go through life and we think that the things that we do are common sense. We think that, we act this way. Our parents taught us to treat people this way, so everyone should treat people this way. It doesn't work that way, right? We expect for people to make agreements with words the same ways that we do. So we may say, I'm a loyal person. And so when someone does something that we consider to be unloyal, we then say that that person is not loyal. But what we have to understand is that everybody is doing the best that they can, and everyone is living their life from their own level of understanding. So just because something makes perfect sense to you based on the experiences that you have experienced in your life, that doesn't necessarily mean that that is a core value and it makes sense to someone else. Now, I'm not saying that that is not an expectation that is okay for you to have, right? However, we have to understand that when we place expectations on people, we are also putting ourselves through unnecessary suffering. We cannot expect people to move and live and see the world the way that we do. What we can expect, though, from that person is for them to respect our boundaries and respect who we are. So when we look at that person and we have determined that maybe their behavior does not align with who we want to be or who we want to be around, we can then respect that person for who they are, but then remove our expectations and remove ourselves from that person because we are not equally yoked and they are not what's going to get us to our end goal. So that is okay to say. But in the midst of saying all of those things, we want to make sure that we are respecting people for where they are and respecting people for their level of understanding because that looks different for everyone. And the second way to remain in control of your emotions is to choose your vibe wisely. So, one of the things that I help my clients with when we are transforming their lives is for them to embody the woman that they want to be. And one of the ways that we do that is to choose the vibe and the frequency that we want to remain on. So, our frequency and our moods and our mood and our emotion is not directly affected to the behavior of someone else. So we decide, who do we want to be? How do we want to show up in the world? How do we want people to remember us? And then we're constantly working on maintaining that frequency no matter what's going on around us. So we choose that. That means we say, okay, I want to be on the frequency of peace. So many people say that. I just want to be at peace. You determine you want to be on the frequency of peace, and that is what you're on. That means no matter what someone else does, no matter what someone else says to you, you are on the frequency of peace because you find that peace within yourself based on what you create for yourself. So for me, I want to be on the frequency of happiness. That means that I want to be happy no matter what. I want to be able to be happy no matter what's going on in my external circumstances. I want to be able to find that joy on the inside. So that means when you decide what frequency you want to be on, you create the anchor to maintain that. So no matter what's going on around you, that anchor that you have created inside of you to maintain your frequency is something that you can access at any time. So you remain in control of your emotions because you are in control of the anchor that you have created that reminds you of that frequency you want to maintain. Okay. So you are in control of that. And then the third way for you to remain in control of your emotions is to really just remember the super learning phase. So from the age of 0 to 7, we were all in something called the super learning phase. And that means that our subconscious mind is being formed, paradigms are being created, programming is being installed. That is a time when that subconscious mind is being formed. Oftentimes we can think back to limiting beliefs that we have or beliefs that we have, and we can connect them to things that happen between the ages of 0 and 7. Because that is the time when our brain is really not able to determine what's real, what's fake, and so it takes in all of these things. That means those bad feelings that we have about ourselves, limiting beliefs, those are things that were programs in us from the ages of 0 to 7. Sometimes that programming is positive and sometimes that programming is negative. But what that means is that every one of us, every single one of us is walking around with trauma that has been inflicted on us, and we are moving through life the best way that we know how, managing that trauma. Sometimes some of us don't even know what the trauma is. Sometimes we have no idea why we react the way that we do because some of us can't even remember the trauma. So I say that to say, giving people that grace and understanding that from the ages of 0 to 7, things happen to them that they had no control over. And sometimes right now, as an adult, they have no idea how those things and that programming has affected them in their adult life. Everybody gets there at a different time. Sometimes people don't even get there. So if we take our focus off of wondering why someone is not at a specific destination when we are there or while we are there, or have not gotten to that destination as quickly as we have arrived there, instead we give them grace and we remember that from the ages of 0 to 7, their brain was going through something that our brain was going through as well. But the difference is they were in a different environment than us. Things affected them differently. And so they are making their way through life as easily as they know how, just the way that we are. So if we focus on our frequency and maintaining our vibe and showing up as the best version of ourselves, who someone else is, how someone else shows up should not affect us because we have decided how we are going to show up. Now, guys, I know that this is extremely difficult to do. It's not something that I think is going to happen overnight. But I also feel that being healed is not about being perfect and never making mistakes and never doing those things that you have tried to get away from. Being healed is being intentional with maintaining your frequency, maintaining that positive energy. Being healed is being intentional with how you show up in the world and being intentional with giving others grace. Being healed is not being perfect, but being healed is being aware. It's being aware of how you show up how your behavior affects other people, but most importantly, how your behavior affects you and the life that you live and the surroundings that you are in. So again, guys, I hope that this was helpful for someone. Share this with someone that you think may need it. It is super important to learn how to control your emotions because that will determine how far you make it in life. My emotions is something that I continually struggle with. And so it takes me being intentional with how I respond and I react to certain situations so that I can show up and be the best version of myself that I want to be. So again, hope that this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, you can always place them in the comment box below. If you are not following me, follow me on Instagram. You can friend request me on Facebook. I will leave some links below with some amazing freebies that can help you to transform your life. If you are interested in a life coaching session, you can book your free session using the link below. I would love to chat with you and see what transformation I can give to you. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Again, if you have any questions, drop them below.